The Mystery of Crystal Rogers. Bardstown, Kentucky, nestled in the heart of the Bluegrass State, is a town known for its charm, tight-knit community, and deep roots in the bourbon industry. Yet, since the summer of 2015, the town has been haunted by the disappearance of one of its own, Crystal Rogers, a 35-year-old mother of 5 whose case remains one of the most heartbreaking and puzzling unsolved stories in Kentucky's recent history. Crystal Rogers was born and raised in Bardstown. She was known for being a warm, generous person, always ready to lend a hand to those in need. More than anything, Crystal was a devoted mother. Rarely seen without at least one of her children by her side, she embraced motherhood with her whole heart. Her family described her as deeply nurturing, a woman who prioritized her children above all else. At the time of her disappearance, Crystal was living with her boyfriend, Brooks Houck, who was also the father of her youngest child, a 2-year-old boy named Eli. Their relationship had its complications, but outwardly, they appeared to function as a family. On the evening of the 3rd of July, 2015, Crystal was last seen alive, reportedly spending time with Brooks and Eli. Brooks would later tell authorities that the three of them had visited his family's farm before returning home that night. What happened next remains unclear. By the morning of the 5th of July, Crystal's mother, Sherry Ballard, had grown increasingly worried. She had been trying to reach her daughter since the previous day, to no avail. Her concern deepened when Crystal's teenage daughter also said she hadn't been able to reach her mother, and that it was completely unlike her to be out of contact for that long. Crystal was someone who checked in regularly. Silence from her was alarming. Sherry decided to report her daughter missing and headed toward the police station. On her way, she ran into Brooks and asked if he had seen Crystal. His response was unsettling. He claimed that she had left their home sometime during the night and had not returned. There was no explanation, no urgency in his voice. To Sherry, it didn't make sense. Crystal would never willingly leave her children behind. That same day, another strange and tragic clue emerged. Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, was driving along the Bluegrass Parkway when he noticed a red Chevrolet Impala with a flat tire parked on the side of the road near mile marker 14. He recognized the vehicle instantly. It belonged to Crystal. Tommy pulled over and contacted authorities. The car was unlocked. Inside were Crystal's purse, her phone, and the keys, still in the ignition, but there was no sign of Crystal anywhere. To those who knew her, the circumstances immediately raised red flags. Leaving her belongings behind, especially her phone, was completely out of character. If she had truly walked away on her own, why would she have left everything behind? And why hadn't she contacted anyone since? As the days passed, the case gained more attention. The police began looking into those closest to Crystal, and naturally, suspicion turned to Brooks. After all, he was the last person known to have seen her. On the 8th of July, Brooks was brought in for questioning by Detective John Snow. During the interview, Brooks remained calm, but offered few useful details. He maintained that Crystal had left during the night and that he had no idea where she had gone. He also made it clear that he didn't believe anything suspicious had happened to her. But others weren't so convinced. Brooks's demeanor struck many as distant. He showed little emotion during the early days of the investigation. Meanwhile, Crystal's family organized searches, handed out flyers, and pleaded for information. They were desperate for answers, but each passing day brought none. As the investigation progressed, more unusual elements began to surface. One of the most startling developments came when Brooks's brother, Nick Houck, who was a police officer at the time, was interviewed by the authorities. Nick reportedly warned Brooks not to speak with investigators and refused to cooperate fully during his own questioning. Eventually, he was dismissed from the police force due to his lack of cooperation. Despite mounting suspicions and growing community pressure, there was still no sign of Crystal. Her case became one of the highest-profile missing persons cases in Kentucky, yet months and years went by with no major breakthroughs. The emotional weight of the mystery took a deep toll on the Ballard family. Tragically, in November of 2016, Crystal's father, Tommy Ballard, was involved in a deeply unsettling incident. While preparing for a hunting trip with his grandson, he was fatally struck by a projectile under suspicious circumstances. Though authorities have not officially linked his passing to Crystal's case, many in the community believe the two events are connected. Tommy had been Crystal's strongest advocate, relentlessly searching for answers. His loss only deepened the sorrow surrounding the case. As years passed, small updates emerged, new searches, new tips, and continued interest from national media outlets. Crystal's mother, Sherry, remained at the forefront of these efforts, determined not to let her daughter's story fade. She remained hopeful that one day the truth would come to light. In recent years, new developments have continued to keep the case in public focus, including law enforcement searching properties and issuing new statements about ongoing investigations. While no one has been officially charged in connection with Crystal's disappearance, the case remains active. It continues to be investigated by multiple agencies, including the FBI. The mystery of what happened to Crystal Rogers has never been fully explained. Her disappearance remains one of Kentucky's most disturbing cold cases. It is a story of love, loss, and the relentless pursuit of justice by a grieving family. For Bardstown, it is a wound that has not yet healed, and for the many who followed her story, Crystal remains more than a case. She is a reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of never giving up on the search for truth. In the quiet spaces of Bardstown, the memory of Crystal Rogers lives on. Her face remains on billboards, her name spoken in whispers and in prayer. Until the day comes when answers are finally found, the mystery of Crystal Rogers continues to echo through the Kentucky hills, a question still waiting for resolution. The mysterious case of Robert Levinson. The mysterious disappearance of Robert Levinson remains one of the most perplexing cases in modern international history. Born in Flushing, New York, in the year 1948, Levinson dedicated nearly 3 decades of his life to public service. He first served as an agent with the Drug Enforcement Administration and later joined the Federal Bureau of Investigation, where he spent the bulk of his career. After retiring in 1998, he transitioned into private investigation work. It was during one of these assignments that he vanished, on a trip to Kish Island, Iran, in March of 2007. Since that day, neither his family nor any confirmed source has been able to determine exactly what became of him. Kish Island, a resort destination under Iranian jurisdiction, allows visa-free access to citizens of several countries, including the United States. The island was developed as a commercial hub to attract international investment and tourism, but it has also carried a reputation as a center for illicit trade and underground dealings. Officially, Levinson had claimed that his trip to Kish was related to a cigarette smuggling investigation. However, it was later revealed that he was conducting unofficial intelligence work on behalf of the Central Intelligence Agency, despite being a retired agent. The individual Levinson was reportedly meeting was Dawood Salahuddin, an American citizen who had converted to Islam and defected to Iran after committing a politically motivated assassination in the United States. Salahuddin, living openly in Iran, had suggested that he might be willing to provide information of interest to American intelligence. Levinson met him at the Hotel Mariam on Kish Island. According to Salahuddin, the two were arrested shortly after their meeting. Salahuddin claims he was released the following day, while Levinson was not. 3 weeks later, Iranian state media briefly reported that Levinson had been taken into custody and would soon be released, but that release never occurred. The fact that Levinson may have been detained by Iranian authorities is not, in itself, especially shocking. What has made the case so baffling is the years of denial that followed. Despite the press TV report and statements made by Salahuddin, the Iranian government has continued to claim no knowledge of Levinson's whereabouts. On multiple occasions, Iranian officials have expressed a willingness to cooperate in locating him, but such efforts have yielded no results. The contradiction between the early reports and the subsequent denials has cast a long shadow of uncertainty over the case. Adding to the mystery, in late 2010, Levinson's family received a video showing him alive but in visibly declining health. Several months later, they received a set of photographs in which he appeared unshaven, gaunt, and holding signs written in English. These messages hinted at captivity and seemed to be aimed at prompting action from the United States government. However, the emails containing the video and images were sent from untraceable addresses, and their origin remains unknown. the Iranian government has denied any involvement in the creation or distribution of these materials. Curiously, the original message also demanded the release of a list of prisoners whose names did not match any known detainees, further deepening the confusion. Despite these developments, Levinson's case remained in legal and political limbo for over a decade. In 2020, a federal court in the United States officially declared Robert Levinson deceased in absentia. At the same time, his family was awarded $1.4 billion in damages to be paid from frozen Iranian assets. Years earlier, the Central Intelligence Agency had already paid his family $2.5 million in exchange for halting a potential lawsuit related to Levinson's covert assignment. Nevertheless, the legal conclusion did not bring closure. The United States Department of State continues to offer a reward of $20 million for information leading to the resolution of Levinson's case. President Trump, while still in office in 2020, publicly demanded answers from Iran. In recent developments, on the 21st of June, 2025, Levinson's children appeared in the media once more, asking for renewed efforts and calling upon President Trump to support a deeper investigation. In the years since Levinson's disappearance, several other American citizens held in Iran have been released through negotiations, including Siamak Namazi, Imad Shaghi, and Morad Tabaz. These cases suggest that diplomatic channels can lead to successful outcomes. However, Iran has continued to deny any responsibility for Levinson, maintaining that it had no role in his detention or subsequent disappearance. The mystery of Robert Levinson's case is compounded by the involvement of Salahuddin. For over 4 decades, Salahuddin has remained a fugitive in the eyes of American law enforcement. Living freely in Tehran, he has maintained a public profile as an English teacher, television editor, and writer. He has repeatedly acknowledged his past, even defending his controversial actions. Yet his unique role in the Levinson case, being the last known person to meet him and claiming to have been arrested with him, adds a complex layer to the already murky story. As United States-Iran relations continue to fluctuate, the fate of Robert Levinson remains a point of concern, not only for his family, but also as a symbol of unresolved tensions between the two nations. His story raises difficult questions about covert operations, international diplomacy, and the limits of accountability in an increasingly complicated world. Whether the full truth of what happened to Robert Levinson will ever be known is uncertain, but the persistence of his family, the ongoing public interest, and the unanswered questions ensure that his name will not be forgotten. The unsolved case of Jennifer Kesse. In January of 2006, 24-year-old Jennifer Kesse vanished without a trace from her Orlando, Florida condominium. What began as a routine morning quickly turned into a nightmare that has left her family, friends, and an entire community searching for answers nearly 2 decades later. Over the years, Jennifer's disappearance has become one of the most baffling and emotionally charged unsolved cases in the state of Florida. Jennifer was known by her loved ones as a responsible, hard-working, and loving young woman. At the time of her disappearance, she was living independently in her newly purchased condo at the Mosaic at Millenia Complex in Orlando. She had recently been promoted at her job as a finance manager at a timeshare company located in nearby Ocoee. With a bright future ahead of her, Jennifer was someone who seemed to have everything going for her: an active social life, a supportive family, and a promising career. Just days before she went missing, Jennifer had returned from a relaxing vacation in the Virgin Islands with her boyfriend. On Sunday, the 22nd of January, she stayed overnight at his residence before heading straight to work the next morning. According to co-workers and friends, Jennifer was in good spirits on Monday, the 23rd of January. She worked her full day, leaving the office at approximately 6 in the evening. She spoke to her father shortly after that and had her final phone conversation around 10 o'clock that night with her boyfriend. Nothing in those conversations suggested that anything was out of the ordinary. But by the morning of Tuesday, the 24th of January, everything changed. Jennifer failed to show up at work, which was extremely unlike her. Her absence raised immediate concern among co-workers, prompting her employer to reach out to her family. After several failed attempts to reach her by phone, Jennifer's parents, Joyce and Drew Kesse, made the 2-hour drive from Tampa to Orlando. When they arrived at her condo, they found no sign of Jennifer. What they did find was unsettling. Jennifer's clothes were laid out for work, a wet towel was hanging in the bathroom, and her makeup and hair tools appeared to have been used. It looked as though she had gotten ready for the day as usual, but had never made it out the door. Her car was missing, as were her purse, cell phone, and keys. Jennifer's boyfriend also confirmed that she had not contacted him that morning, which was unusual since she typically sent a text or made a brief call before work. The Kesey family immediately contacted the Orlando Police Department, and within hours, a missing person investigation was launched. The initial findings at her condo offered no evidence of a struggle or forced entry. Everything was intact, and there was no sign of disarray or distress. However, the absence of her car, phone, and keys suggested that she had either left willingly or been lured out under false pretenses. In the following days, the case intensified. On Thursday, the 26th of January, a major breakthrough occurred. Jennifer's black two-door Chevrolet Malibu was discovered abandoned at another apartment complex located about 1 mile from her residence. Hope surged briefly that the car might offer new evidence. Surveillance cameras at the complex captured someone parking Jennifer's vehicle and walking away. However, what should have been a pivotal lead turned into another dead end. The security footage was grainy, and unfortunately, the individual's face was obscured in each frame by the bars of a decorative gate. Despite the widespread sharing of the video, the person's identity remains unknown to this day. Forensic teams thoroughly examined the car for fingerprints and DNA, but it appeared to have been wiped clean. The driver's seat was pushed far back, suggesting someone taller than Jennifer had last driven it. Still, this detail, like many others in the case, led to more questions than answers. As detectives worked tirelessly to uncover the truth, Jennifer's family began pursuing their own lines of inquiry. They discovered that the condominium complex where Jennifer lived had been undergoing renovations, with construction workers and contractors frequently present. Jennifer had confided to her parents and close friends that she felt uneasy around some of the men who worked there. She mentioned being whistled at and receiving unwanted attention, but she never thought it would lead to anything serious. This detail added a deeply troubling angle to the investigation. The construction workers, many of whom were undocumented and had moved between job sites, became a focus for detectives, but tracking them down and conducting formal interviews proved difficult, and no direct link between any of them and Jennifer's disappearance was ever found. Detectives also explored other leads. Jennifer had recently turned down romantic advances from a supervisor, and an ex-boyfriend had tried to reconnect, but both men were eventually ruled out as suspects. There were no confirmed eyewitnesses, no direct sightings, and no activity on Jennifer's phone or bank accounts after the night of her last known communication. One theory proposed that Jennifer may have been intercepted on her way to her car that morning. The time between when she would have left her apartment and when she was expected to arrive at work offered a short but critical window. Yet, without surveillance footage from the Mosaic complex, it was impossible to know exactly when or how she disappeared. As time went on, the case continued to stall. Jennifer's family, heartbroken but relentless, worked to keep her story in the public eye. They appeared on national news programs, held awareness events, and created a website and foundation in Jennifer's name. Their commitment to finding answers never wavered. Frustrated by the slow progress of the official investigation, the Kesey family hired private investigators to pursue alternate leads. Over the years, they also pushed for more transparency from law enforcement and fought legal battles to obtain access to Jennifer's case files. Their hope was that with more eyes on the information, new insights or forgotten clues might emerge. In 2018, Jennifer's case gained renewed attention when her family took over control of the case file and turned it over to a team of private investigators. The move reignited public interest, but even with fresh eyes on the documents, no significant new developments came to light. In May 2008, the Florida House of Representatives passed a bill named in honor of Jennifer Kesey and another missing woman, Tiffany Sessions. The bill sought to modernize the procedures surrounding missing persons cases in the state, helping to ensure that future cases might be solved more quickly and efficiently. Today, the disappearance of Jennifer Kesey remains unsolved. Nearly 20 years have passed since the morning she seemingly vanished into thin air. Yet her family continues to fight for answers and justice. They remain steadfast in their belief that someone, somewhere, knows what happened, and that one day, the truth will come to light. Jennifer Kessie's story is more than just a mystery. It's a reminder of the deep love of a family, the resilience of the human spirit, and the importance of never giving up hope. Her legacy continues to inspire awareness for other missing persons and has become a symbol for families who are still searching for their loved ones. Though time moves forward, Jennifer's presence remains etched in the hearts of those who knew and loved her. Until the day comes when answers finally emerge, the mystery of her disappearance remains a powerful call to keep looking, to keep asking, and to never stop believing that resolution is possible. The Grand Canyon, a breathtaking chasm carved over millions of years by the relentless force of the Colorado River, stands as one of the most iconic and mesmerizing natural wonders on Earth. Its majestic landscapes and awe-inspiring vistas have captured the imaginations of millions, drawing visitors from around the world. Yet, beneath its rugged facade, this geological marvel harbors a multitude of mysteries that continue to intrigue and baffle scientists, explorers, and adventurers alike. From enigmatic caves and unexplained disappearances to ancient geological secrets and elusive creatures, the Grand Canyon conceals a world of unanswered questions and uncharted territories that beckon us to explore and uncover its enduring secrets. A NASA employee went missing in the Grand Canyon. Every year, an alarming number of individuals, exceeding 250,000, are reported missing. However, this figure merely scratches the surface, as it is estimated that the actual number of unreported missing persons cases skyrockets to over 300,000 annually. With such an overwhelming volume of reports, it comes as no surprise that a significant majority of these cases remain unresolved. Nevertheless, amidst this sea of mysteries, there are certain clusters of missing persons cases that possess an uncanny air of peculiarity, capturing the attention of people and giving rise to inexplicable theories. These enigmatic occurrences, collectively known as the Missing 411, revolve around the unexplained disappearances of individuals within the vast expanses of national parks. Oddly enough, it is believed that many of these Missing 411 cases are not thoroughly investigated, leading some to speculate that a sinister supernatural or paranormal cover-up is at play within these untouched landscapes. Back on the 17th of June 2016, a man by the name of Floyd Roberts III had gone on a hiking trip with a longtime friend of his, Ned Bryant, and his friend's daughter, Madeline Bryant. However, after several hours of hiking together, Floyd suddenly disappeared from the group. As the weeks went on, and the investigation into the matter was never resolved, many began to wonder what exactly happened to Floyd Roberts within the very short span of time that he had wandered away from his group. According to Ned Bryant, he and Floyd had been lifelong friends since they were 10 years old, when they first met each other back in Princeton, New Jersey. Their friendship was so close that many would often think that Ned and Floyd were actually brothers. Their friendship would even coalesce and maintain throughout their entire lives, with Floyd Roberts serving as Ned's best man during his wedding several years prior. Unfortunately, due to work requirements and job opportunities, the two men were unable to live close to each other, with Floyd Roberts eventually moving out to the city of Huntsville, Alabama, where he spent a short period of time working as a software engineer for the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. After a short time of working for NASA, Floyd Roberts moved once more to work as a computer programming and game design teacher at Middleton High School, located in Treasure Island, Florida. However, throughout this time, Floyd and Ned decided to stay close friends and would meet up regularly to do an activity together. It was back in 1992 when Floyd and Ned decided that they would start hiking around the Grand Canyon a few times a year, as it would be a fun activity for them to both do that would also allow them to take a break from their lives momentarily and get some much-needed exercise. These routine hiking trips would continue for over the next 20 years together, where the two men became highly experienced campers and hikers, familiar with the Grand Canyon as it was their only hiking route. Even more interesting, the two men were so interested in hiking that they would often travel alone in their free time whenever the other was unable to join, showing that both men had experience navigating the known pathways of the area even when isolated and on their own. Several years later, Ned Bryant and a few other members of his family became board members of the Grand Canyon Hikers and Backpackers Association, often sharing tips with each other on the best pathways and means of travel throughout the area, and having been trained in travel safety when hiking through isolated parts of the Grand Canyon. Confident that the two would be perfectly safe during their journey, the men planned to take one of their longest hiking and camping trips yet, choosing to spend 9 days hiking through the Shivwitz Plateau, a pathway that would lead them out of the area through the Separation Canyon. Although the region was a typically less popular area to travel through, their decided route was considered to have been largely very safe, without any major pitfalls or ravines close to their trails. Additionally, the two men decided that the beginning of the journey would be the most relaxed, and planned on spending the first couple of days camping alongside the major river in the area before making their way out of the canyon. After careful consideration, the two men planned their trip and decided that their hike would end after 9 days on the 26th of June, 2016. At the last minute, Ned's daughter, Madeline Bryant, decided to join the group, and so the group decided that the easiest path down towards the river they had wanted to camp beside for a few days was to first reach the Grand Canyon Parashunt National Monument when entering from the furthest western portion of the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon Parashunt National Monument is considered to be a remote location and terribly underdeveloped given the lack of tourists that tend to visit the area. According to official park services, there are no known paved roads or laid-out trails leading to the national monument and no visitor services of any kind. Regardless, the group decided the open area and the lack of tourists would be a perfect staging ground to enter towards the river without the stress of strangers crowding around the area. Once the group was several miles away from the main trailhead of the area, the three travelers found themselves traveling over a large hill. Given Floyd Roberts' preference for a longer traveling time to help take in the scenery, he decided that he would take the slow, rounding trail that followed the contours of the hill to reach the trailhead, whereas Madeline and Ned decided that a straight path over the hill would allow them to reach the trailhead faster and give them time to relax and take a quick rest. At around 4:45 in the afternoon, the group separated, with Ned and his daughter taking a straight-line path and Floyd Roberts following the trail that wrapped around the side of the hill. Several minutes later, Ned and Madeline would reach the trailhead and decide to take a short rest, waiting for Floyd Roberts to catch up to them. However, after about 20 minutes of waiting, the two started to worry that something had happened and immediately began retracing their steps to look for Floyd Roberts, who they assumed must have gotten lost somewhere along the contouring path. After spending several hours looking for Floyd Roberts, the two decided that it was too dark and dangerous for them to continue their search, and so made a campsite near the trailhead meeting spot in the hopes that Floyd Roberts would be able to locate them by their fire. Unfortunately, the two said that it appeared as if Floyd had just completely disappeared, and so Ned and Madeline hiked their way to the nearest area with cell phone reception to report Floyd Roberts as missing. The two reported Floyd Roberts' disappearance at around 3 in the afternoon on Saturday, June 18th. Almost immediately, a team of search and rescue working for the national park started their search for Floyd Roberts, covering a 10-mile radius of where he had last been seen by Ned Bryant and his daughter. The search and rescue originally showed up for the search efforts in high spirits, believing that Roberts would have been recovered quickly, given the fact that the weather in the area did not drop anywhere near freezing temperatures and stayed relatively high throughout the day and night. Additionally, Floyd Roberts had been carrying a week's supply of food and over 2 gallons of water in his backpack at the time of his disappearance, so it was believed that he would have more than enough supplies and years of experience to help him navigate his way towards help, if necessary. Over the next few days, an estimated 15 people were involved with the search and rescue of Floyd Roberts, with a team of sniffer dogs used to follow his scent. It was at around this time that a set of footprints had been discovered that followed down the direction of the trail that Ned and his daughter Madeline had claimed Floyd was last seen traveling down. As the dogs followed the trail, it appeared as if they had locked onto the scent of Roberts and continued in the direction of the footprints for several hundred feet before they suddenly stopped. Search and rescuers then noticed that the footprints of Floyd Roberts seemed to have suddenly disappeared, as if Roberts had been walking and then rose into the air and vanished. It was at this point that the National Park Service rescue helicopter was used to get aerial views of the surrounding 10-mile radius, but were unable to locate any signs of someone having fallen down any side paths or in any known areas. After 6 days of frantic searching and thousands of man-hours, The search and rescue for Floyd Roberts slowed down to a passive search. To this day, no sign of Roberts has been recovered, and his whereabouts remains a mystery. Mysterious lights. Nestled deep within the expansive and awe-inspiring beauty that is the Grand Canyon lies a phenomenon that continues to perplex and mesmerize those who dare to explore its depths: the enigmatic phantom lights. Often referred to as ghost lights or spook lights, these mysterious luminous anomalies have been witnessed and documented by a multitude of visitors, park rangers, and dedicated researchers. Their ethereal presence adds an extra layer of intrigue and enchantment to the already captivating marvels of the canyon. The presence of phantom lights in the Grand Canyon is not a recent phenomenon. In fact, it can be traced back to more than a century ago, as evidenced by the documented reports of early explorers and settlers. These historical accounts contribute significantly to the mystique surrounding this intriguing occurrence, since they precede the era of advanced scientific inquiry and technological advancements that could potentially offer more precise explanations. Since the early days of the Grand Canyon's exploration, there have been numerous reports of inexplicable lights that appear and disappear within the depths of the canyon. During the early days, when brave explorers bravely ventured through the challenging and rough landscape of the canyon, they repeatedly shared their remarkable encounters with peculiar and radiant orbs, as well as flickering lights that gracefully danced along the ancient walls and towering ridges, especially during the profound darkness of night. These captivating and mystical displays never failed to evoke a range of emotions within the witnesses, encompassing a mixture of admiration, trepidation, and fascination. The impact of these ethereal illuminations left an indelible mark on the memories of those fortunate enough to behold such awe-inspiring spectacles. Phantom lights within the vast expanse of the Grand Canyon possess an intriguing and mysterious nature that captivates all those who witness them. People who have observed these phenomena consistently report a set of distinctive attributes that define their ethereal essence. Among the various paranormal phenomena often witnessed in the depths of the canyon, the appearance of ghostly orbs of light holds a prominent place. These ethereal spheres, seemingly weightless and untethered, have been widely reported by many individuals. These luminescent spheres emanate a gentle and ethereal luminosity, creating a striking juxtaposition against the encompassing obscurity. An additional frequently observed phenomenon encompasses abrupt and mysterious eruptions of highly luminous flashes that seemingly manifest without any discernible cause. These flashes, though ephemeral, possess an extraordinary intensity, momentarily illuminating the vertical cliffs of the canyon. Their origin remains enigmatic, shrouded in ambiguity and intrigue, adding to the mystique of this captivating natural wonder. Some individuals who have witnessed these mysterious lights have provided accounts of them resembling flickering flames or lanterns. What is particularly intriguing is the way in which these lights seem to move with intention, as if being guided by an unseen force with intelligence. The breathtaking display of the phantom lights captivates the onlookers with its mesmerizing variety of colors, ranging from dazzling shades of white and blue to intriguing hues of green and unsettling tones of red. The wide spectrum of colors enhances the enchantment and enigma surrounding these ethereal lights. One aspect of the mysterious lights that baffles observers is their seemingly intelligent behavior and deliberate mobility. According to eyewitness accounts, these lights often follow distinct paths or trajectories, challenging conventional interpretations of natural occurrences. It is intriguing to note that these lights demonstrate a degree of purpose and intention in their movement, defying our understanding of how they are able to do this. Before delving into the specifics of mysterious sightings at the Grand Canyon, it is essential to establish the existence of unidentified objects as a real and genuine phenomena. Unidentified flying objects are typically described as aerial anomalies that defy conventional explanation, and these objects have been reported by credible witnesses ranging from pilots and military personnel to ordinary citizens. The sheer volume of sightings, along with corroborating radar data and credible testimonies, suggests that UFOs cannot be easily dismissed as mere delusions or hoaxes. The Grand Canyon, known for its vast and challenging landscape, provides the perfect backdrop for UFO phenomena to occur without garnering much attention from the public. Although sightings have been reported in various parts of the globe, The Grand Canyon stands out due to the remarkable consistency and credibility of these accounts. This expansive natural wonder, with its remote and rugged terrain, becomes a hidden playground for unidentified flying objects. The secluded nature of the canyon allows for UFO activity to go unnoticed or undetected by the general population, contributing to the mystique surrounding this phenomenon. One of the most intriguing and captivating instances of UFO sightings in the majestic Grand Canyon transpired during the balmy summer of 1953. Amidst their intrepid expedition into the inner recesses of the canyon, a group of avid hikers were astounded as they bore witness to a mesmerizing display of luminous, saucer-shaped objects suspended in the air just above the formidable canyon walls. Their testimonies, meticulously detailed and steadfastly consistent, painted a vivid picture of the otherworldly spectacle they encountered. The celestial vessels seemed to maneuver with unparalleled coordination, defying the very laws of physics that govern our understanding of the universe. Adding to the weight of these remarkable accounts, park rangers stationed in the vicinity corroborated the hikers' stories, lending substantial credibility to these extraordinary sightings. Such a profound occurrence continues to fascinate and captivate the minds of those who delve into the realm of unexplained phenomena. One of the most captivating and thought-provoking aspects surrounding UFO sightings at the Grand Canyon revolves around the active participation of the military. Extensive documentation confirms the United States military's deep fascination with UFO phenomena, and their presence within the confines of the Grand Canyon only adds layers of intrigue and mystique to the phenomenon. Numerous first-hand accounts and reports allude to military aircraft being deployed to intercept and thoroughly investigate unidentified flying objects observed in the vicinity of the canyon. These encounters have yielded perplexing and unexplained occurrences, including instances of electromagnetic disruption and temporary loss of communication between the military aircraft and their base. The involvement of the military in such incidents only serves to intensify the enigma surrounding UFO sightings at the Grand Canyon. In the year 1967, a highly publicized event took place near the majestic Grand Canyon involving a military aircraft and an unidentified flying object, widely known as a UFO. The experienced pilot of the military jet reported an astonishing encounter with the mysterious object, describing its extraordinary maneuverability and unparalleled speed. Despite the pilot's relentless pursuit, the elusive object managed to outwit its captors, disappearing into the vast expanse of the sky. This captivating incident, along with numerous similar occurrences, lends substantial support to the notion that there is undoubtedly something truly remarkable unraveling in the airspace above the Grand Canyon. The incident that unfolded more than 5 decades ago continues to intrigue and confound not only the pilot, but also his superiors and the scientific community as a whole. Such unexplained encounters serve as compelling evidence, offering credibility and resonance to the hypothesis that unknown phenomena are transpiring within the depths of the Grand Canyon's airspace. UFO sightings at the Grand Canyon have piqued the curiosity of not just the military and eyewitnesses, but also a number of esteemed scientists. While some scientists remain skeptical, there is a growing contingent that believes the evidence surrounding these phenomena cannot be ignored. They advocate for a scientific examination of sightings in order to unravel their origins and better understand their nature. In the past few years, there has been an emergence of a fascinating idea among researchers to conduct controlled experiments and observations within the stunning landscape of the Grand Canyon. The purpose behind these endeavors is twofold: to capture potential UFO activity on camera and to gather irrefutable scientific data. The intentions are clear: to shed light on the perplexing phenomena that have perplexed and intrigued countless individuals throughout the course of history. Although the scientific community remains divided when it comes to the validity of UFO sightings, the Grand Canyon presents a truly unparalleled opportunity for further exploration and investigation. One of the most captivating and fascinating concepts associated with the observation of unidentified flying objects within the confines of the magnificent Grand Canyon is the notion that these peculiar aerial phenomena might originate from beings hailing from distant galaxies. Although this hypothesis may initially appear implausible or even fantastical to certain individuals, it is imperative to acknowledge that it should not be hastily disregarded. The vast expanse of the universe, coupled with the potential existence of other intelligent civilizations, renders the idea of extraterrestrial visitations a viable and logical explanation for certain UFO sightings witnessed within this awe-inspiring natural wonder. If we consider the possibility of extraterrestrial beings, the secluded and isolated nature of the Grand Canyon adds to its appeal as an alluring destination for interstellar travelers. The canyon's unforgiving and rugged landscape not only offers a natural camouflage for their activities, but also conceals their presence from prying eyes. Additionally, the sheer magnificence of its awe-inspiring vistas may possess some intrinsic cosmic significance that attracts these celestial visitors. It is plausible to speculate that these otherworldly beings could be engrossed in the study of Earth's intricate geological history, using the Grand Canyon as a living laboratory to unravel the mysteries of our planet's evolution. Undoubtedly, the sightings that occur above the iconic Grand Canyon evoke immense fascination and bewilderment, making them an enigmatic phenomenon that cannot be easily dismissed. The substantial number of credible eyewitness accounts, involvement of military personnel, scientific curiosity, and the intriguing possibility of encounters with extraterrestrial beings all contribute to the captivating mystique that surrounds these events. While skeptics may persist in questioning the authenticity of such UFO sightings, it is imperative to approach this subject matter with an open and receptive mindset, venturing into unexplored realms of our world and the vast cosmos beyond. The Grand Canyon, with its incomparable natural splendor, remains an epicenter for those eager to delve into the cosmic enigmas that hover above its majestic cliffs, ceaselessly yearning to comprehend the unknown. The tour guide that vanished. 22-year-old Morgan Elias Heimer, employed as a commercial guide by Tour West, a reputable rafting company, found himself in an unexpected situation during a harrowing 8-day expedition along the majestic Colorado River. On the 6th day of the arduous journey, fate took a bewildering turn when Heimer mysteriously vanished without a trace, leaving his fellow travelers and colleagues astonished and deeply concerned for his safety. Morgan Heimer, originally hailing from the picturesque town of Cody in Wyoming, embarked on an educational journey at the esteemed University of Wyoming, where he fervently pursued a degree in English. With a wealth of experience in navigating the great outdoors and possessing an unparalleled expertise as a river guide. On the afternoon of Tuesday, June 2nd, 2015, at around 4 in the afternoon, Morgan was sighted in the vicinity of River Mile 213, specifically near Pumpkin Springs, within the breathtaking expanse of Grand Canyon National Park. It was the last known sighting of Morgan in this area. During their conversation, Heimer mentioned to the lead guide that he needed some time off that afternoon. The lead guide, briefly detaching himself from the cliff where they were stationed, stepped away to attend to a client. Upon his return, however, the lead guide was taken aback to find that Heimer had vanished without a trace. Initially assuming that Heimer had decided to take a break, the guide awaited his return. Unfortunately, Heimer never reappeared, leaving everyone puzzled and concerned about his sudden disappearance. The individual was officially reported as missing at 7:26 in the evening on the same day by a member of the river trip. The report was made following a group swimming activity in the river, as the individual did not show up for dinner. According to the available information, at the time of his disappearance, he was wearing a personal flotation device from Astral in a dark color, a long-sleeved shirt with a blue plaid pattern, Chaco flip-flop sandals, a maroon baseball cap, and brightly colored shorts. Additionally, he was carrying a water bottle colored in purple. The concern over his well-being and whereabouts led to the immediate reporting of his disappearance. This incident occurred after the group's river excursion, during which the individual engaged in swimming activities in the river. According to those conducting the search, it was expressed that the individual in question possesses the necessary skills and capabilities to effectively carry out the assigned tasks, and is highly probable to be successfully found. The evaluators were confident in the individual's qualifications and believed that their competencies align with the job requirements. In a determined effort to locate the missing individual, park rangers and search and rescue teams tirelessly scoured the extensive stretch of the river, along with conducting thorough inspections of the surrounding land encompassing Pumpkin Springs. Recognizing the need to widen their search, they expanded their efforts to include Diamond Creek, located approximately 12 miles west of Pumpkin Springs. To gather any potential leads, Interviews were conducted with fellow employees of the Tour West Guide Service, clients who had embarked on the same river trip, as well as representatives from other river outfitters and their clients. Despite these exhaustive endeavors, no trace of the missing individual was found.